This is collection THX1138, and this is my 2001 Mattel Hot Wheels NASCAR Tech Race Challenge HO Scale race set with interactive digital race center. I bought it for $100 at Toys R Us in 2002. So let's take a look at some very unique and cool electric slot car racing. So what you do is you flip that switch and that comes on. Then you press that button to select the laps. That's what happens when there is a crash. That's what you don't want to do. Fuel's running low. The tires will be next. Now since I'm low, I can do that. And I will do that. The car does stop and start when it gets down to one tire. And if you keep pressing it, it'll top it off. Okay, I'm down to one tire, or half a tire. And you can keep pressing the button and top off the fuel if you wish. And that's how you do a pit stop. Because I'm playing this by myself and trying to record at the same time, I'm simply running one race car, and I'm looking at, well, he just won. And again, it'll keep doing that until the other car finishes the race. So according to the instructions, after the race you'll be able to check out your race stats. First, your total race time will be displayed, and then you'll see your best single lap time. Racers, collect your trophies. I'm going to show you all 33 cars that I own and the tools that I use to maintain them. Then I'll show you the instructions, the short track layout in the box. But first, let's look at this highlight in the instructions. It says that the two NASCARs that come with the race set are designed to work with the race center. So let's take a look at the chassis. Lifelike is on the left. One of the Hot Wheels cars that came with the set is in the center. You can see it has a capacitor. And a standard Hot Wheels race car is on the right. This is the bottom of the cars which contact the track. You can see the motor magnets and the traction magnets are a little bit different. I clean my contacts with a special dremel tool bit that I'll show in a little while. I've run all 33 of my cars successfully on this track. This is around $600 worth of cars. They ranged anywhere from $12 to about $22. I have some duplicates because they were in 2 packs. And I have a couple die-cast cars. And there's also one truck. I bought most of these in 2002. and a handful in 2003 and a couple in 2004. The Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson cars are the lifelike brand, but I think the Hot Wheels actually look quote-unquote more lifelike. I saved most of the card backs. I got some of these online and some of them from local hobby shops. Here's the back of some of those. It's good that they show you how to take these things apart. It is really like a regular car. You do have to maintain them properly. And of course you can upgrade the magnets and contacts. They'll grip the track better, they'll hug the curves better, or go faster through the straightaways. But I didn't modify these, I just used them as is. So Mattel Hot Wheels, Lifelike, and Tyco are the brands. Here's a couple pit crews that I got that are pretty cool. Part of the card back pops out for a display. I almost got a couple die-cast semi-truck car haulers. Of course, I would have parked them in the middle of my short track. So this is a close-up of the two pit crews. I just laid them down on top of the table. So here's the tools that I've used in the past. I got the plastic box at a craft store. I used the fine hair tweezers to pull anything out around the axles. From the local racing hobby shop, they recommended Track Brite, this lubricant, and the pickup shoe cleaner. Here's some pickup shoes I got on sale, so I haven't even used them. I haven't run the track in a little while. This stand-up lighted magnifier really helped working on cars. Here's my Dremel tool and the plug-in charger. Here's a close-up of the Dremel tool bit that the hobby shop recommended. It's used to clean the contacts instead of using a pencil eraser. It works pretty well, which is probably why I hadn't had to replace the contacts. They're called pickup shoes, but I call them contacts because it contacts the track. Here's still photos I took of all the instructions. It comes in 2 sheets, and these are 5 seconds long, so you can pause them or scrub through them. Has some pretty good information in it, including tips on car maintenance. They covered up the battery installation. Here's a separate sheet where they changed the instructions for the battery installation. Here's the cleaning instructions for the track and the cars. I also used a vacuum cleaner to clean the track periodically. Carpet fibers will really wrap around the axles of the cars, so I use fine hair tweezers in case they do fall on the carpeting. They really should say in these instructions that you shouldn't run it on the carpet, because that would be an obvious thing to try to do. Not everybody has a table set up. I set the short track up on a coffee table, which worked just fine, keeping it from sliding around with kitchen shelf liners. They also make those for toolboxes. And in the video I had it on sawhorses and an old door. I did try one of these layouts from the instructions, but my short track is more NASCAR. And here's a separate instruction sheet for the Tech Race Challenge Race Center. As you can see from my video, it's pretty cool. But you can read these printed instructions on how it operates. Selecting the laps is kind of tricky because you have to tap that button. You don't press it down too hard. The sound effects are really cool, especially the air gun or impact wrench tire changer. You only run low on tires for the longer races. And there is a reset switch on the back. The graphics are pretty well laid out and they're easy to follow. And it is fun keeping track of the statistics. I wrote them down for a while. This was on top of the actual track pieces. Okay, that's my short track layout that I had to write down. I'm glad I did after all these years. So you got some interesting elements going on. I could have made it longer, but my other track pieces are in storage. So I got my very own Bristol Motor Speedway, or if you prefer, Martinsville, which I had a chance to go to, but that's when those DC snipers were shooting everybody, and they had a NASCAR road map in their car. I passed on that, unfortunately. Here's the shelf liner that has a tacky surface that they also make for toolboxes. It really does help keep the track from sliding around. I put the guardrails on just in case. Because when these things fly off the track, they fly off the track. Let me lift these off. Oops. Teammates going at it. Jimmy Johnson in number 48 car. And Jeff Gordon in number 24 car. Okay, that's where it plugs in. Got Dale Earnhardt versus Dale Jarrett. So you do have to practice a little bit, and these cars are different since I hadn't ran them in a long while. And I got these little guys, pit crew, and it doesn't come with the track. They're pretty slick. And I got some stickers that I didn't unstick, they're just used tape. I'm a graphic designer who's designed packaging for retail in the past, so I want to take a look at this because it's pretty well designed. Gives you a lot of information. It's a huge box. It's 31 by 17 by 3.5 inches. I don't store the track in it when I take it apart, but I did keep the box because it's pretty nice. The quick click track system works really well, but they're difficult to take apart. The NASCARs look really cool. I show photos of my collection at the end. These layouts are pretty nice. They're your typical layouts, and it's not really NASCAR, but it's a lot of fun. These photos highlight the unique parts of the track. You really have to get the timing down of how to slide into the pits. The crossover is a special challenge, especially on a short track, especially when you're racing them both by yourself. Now these cars can skip the track a bit so the laps don't register all the time, especially on the short track. Here's your standard cautions because it is electric. So it's a really nice looking package. It's got a lot of information on it, but it's well organized. Mattel wheels. And the race center takes 3 AA batteries. Cat car looks pretty nice. Here's a nice illustration of a track layout, and it highlights the LCD. Realistic racing sounds. They are pretty cool sounds, and it is a very loud speaker. Does a good job illustrating and communicating what the race center is all about, especially since this has to be static graphics and they're talking about something electronic. So I enjoyed showing you this. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Check out my playlist of Star Wars and other collectibles. Please subscribe and click send me updates so you don't miss another interesting video. Once again, thanks for watching.